All right, so this is Kenny Santos out of Toronto, Canada for KennySantos.com. Do you want to learn how to become an absolute master at following up with your prospects after they've looked at some information? So this goes for if you've invited them to a webinar and you're following up afterwards. Or kind of this is a throwback to when I used to do, like we used to do like hotel presentations and then what we would just say afterwards. And even if you've kind of done a one-on-one, like how do you follow up and what are the things that you want to keep in mind? Now, before I get into the content, if you're getting value from my blogs and my videos and my content, then I invite you to do something super easy and super simple. I invite you to either like, subscribe, share, comment. It is a super easy way, and it's a simple way for you to support my blog and to do so for free. So, what are these things that you want to keep in mind? And I'm going to outline two things that are super duper important when it comes to mastering the follow up. And this isn't so much about what to say, because I've done so many videos on what to say. You can just kind of look that up either on my blog or on my YouTube channel. And if you want to know more about what to say, send me an email or put it in the comments, and I'll certainly address that. But this is more about what you say. Ultimately, first thing that you want to do is to book a follow up. And there's an old saying, it's BAM FAM. BAM FAM. And you may have heard this before. And if you have heard it before, it's worth remembering. And if you haven't heard it before, then it's really important for you to keep in mind when it comes to the follow-up. And that is to make sure that you book it. And BAM FAM means book a meeting from a meeting. And this goes for all the way from step one. Step one, you're calling them up, seeing if they're at all open. If they are open, you have them look at the information, right? So you know what? I got a 5-minute video I want to show you. When can you have a chance to look at it? They'll tell you a time and say, listen, cool, you're going to look at it 9 o'clock tonight. I'm going to give you a call at 9:15. Is that okay? Right? So you've just booked a meeting from a meeting. Once they've looked at the information, right? A 5-minute video is kind of designed to see if they even want more information. And you tell them that. So you know what? It's kind of designed to see if you even want to learn more. Do you want to learn more, to get your questions answered? And then you might invite them to a webinar. Right. And so same thing when you book them on the webinar, you say, you know what, we got a webinar, tonight at 8 o'clock. It'll end at 9. Do you mind if I call you? It's cool if I call you at 9:15. Right. Again, you've booked a meeting from a meeting. All right. So always BAM, FAM, super important. And this works almost for, all relationships. I remember when I first learned this concept over 20 years ago now, this BAM, FAM concept. I would put it a lot into my dating. When I would date a girl, after the first date, when can I see you again? All right. And then we booked that second date. And so that always was kind of happening. And so this works. All right. BAM, FAM, BAM, FAM, book a meeting from a meeting. Make sure that you keep that in mind. Otherwise, what happens is this. If you don't book a meeting from a meeting, what happens is this, is that you say, you know what, I'll send you some information and then we'll catch up later on. And then you're going to send the information. You're not going to know when they've had a chance to see it, which is sad. And that means you don't know when you're going to have a chance to follow up with them. And you might think, okay, I'll send it to them. And if I call them tomorrow, it's too soon. So I'm going to wait a couple days. And then maybe you talk yourself off of calling them a couple days later. Say, you know what, maybe they haven't seen it just yet. Or maybe you call them and they haven't watched it. So I'll say, oh, listen, yeah, I'll give you a call in a couple more days. And they still haven't watched it. It's always good to just set that precedent and say, you know what, I'm going to give you a call at 9:15. You said you're going to call it, you're going to watch at 9. I'm going to give you a call at 9:15. So that way they have this sense of urgency to watch it, because when you call them, they're not going to want to say, oh, I didn't watch it yet. Otherwise, they're just going to kind of procrastinate and let life get in the way. And all of a sudden, it's kind of weird when you follow up with them. And so, and that goes, same thing, after a webinar or after a meeting, and say, you know what, I'll catch up with you later on. Tell them, listen, I have an opening tomorrow or tonight at 9:15. Why don't I give you a call then? I can answer your questions then. Cool. I mean, what's important to do at this point is that you have it booked, because otherwise you'll just wait a couple days and wonder if they're ready to talk about it. And then they might ignore your phone call or they may not answer. So you got to wait another couple days. It could be a whole week before they get to, address the information. And the best time for them to look at the information, the best time to make some decisions is when they're excited, after they've looked at it, after they had a chance to kind of get excited. And you don't want to let that excitement die down. There's a saying, strike while the iron's hot. The iron is hottest after they've looked at the information. That's when you want to answer their questions. That's why I book a meeting right after they have a chance to see it. All right. After they look at the information, I book a meeting. The webinar's at 8, ends at 9. I'm calling them at 9. I mean, it's really, really simple. All right. And so that's number one, book a meeting from a meeting. And number two, this one is something that I shouldn't have to say, but I'm going to say it because a lot of my coaching clients miss this. And it surprises me that they don't, they've missed up on follow-ups because they've forgotten. I'm going to say that again. They've missed up on a follow-up because they've forgotten. I'm thinking, how on earth do you forget to go to a follow-up? Now, I know that you can sometimes forget on appointments here and there, but we're talking about your business here. We're talking about your future, and a lot of people, they'll just kind of, even if they're booking something for tomorrow or the next week, they don't put it down in their calendar or in their phone. Like back when I got started, we weren't using our smartphone, so I actually put it in a calendar, like a date book calendar, and said, you know what, 9 o'clock, calls, prospect ABC, But now you can just kind of just put it in your phone. And so even if the appointment is 2 hours from now, do not leave it to your brain to remember. Put it in with a reminder 10 minutes before. And it's important that you use your calendar, whatever you use. If it's a pad of paper and a pen, or if it's an actual paper calendar, if it's an electronic Google calendar, whatever you use, start using it because you don't want to forget about it. Sometimes you might have to book a follow-up far in advance. It could be a couple weeks, and you do not want to let your mind or your brain remember for you because chances are you're going to forget one of these days, and it could be something really, really important. It could be because I'll say this, you never know. You can never predict how successful a prospect can be or who they can actually lead you to. You never know, right? So you could be missing out if you don't do this follow-up properly. And, I'll take it one step further, right? And I shouldn't even have to say this, but, let's say you book a follow-up with someone that you can only meet, 6 o'clock in the morning. You're going to meet them up for breakfast, 6 o'clock in the morning. You're going to want to know that you have to meet them at 6 o'clock the day before, right? You're not going to want to kind of wake up and look at your meetings for the day. And let's say you wake up at 6:30 and you said, oh my gosh, I was supposed to meet prospect, this prospect at 6 o'clock, and it's 6:30. That means that prospect has been waiting all this time. They may have left already. You may have lost your chance. All right. And so look at it the day before. And think, oh wow, I got a meeting at 6 o'clock. That means I got to get up earlier or whatever the case may be, or just so that you can prepare. So look at your calendar for the next day, the day before, and plan out your day. It is very important because you don't want to stand up a prospect, and it's hard, especially because, again, you never know how successful they're going to be. You never know who they'll lead you to. So if you lose out, you never know. You never know what could happen, with that. And it keeps you on time, right? It keeps you on time when you have to meet with someone. If you're supposed to meet someone at 12 and it's not in your calendar and you kind of remember at 11:45 and it takes you 20 minutes to get to the location, that means that you're going to be late. So if you're going to be late, at the very least, call them and let them know that you're going to be late. Back when I got started, we didn't have cell phones, and it was important for me to call them, and I would have to pull over, find a payphone. All right. And it would make me more late, but at least they knew that I was on the way, because once a prospect, if I'm supposed to meet them on the hour, let's say 7 o'clock, and I know I won't get there until 7:10, that means they are waiting there wondering if I am going to come. And that for sometimes that could be torturous, and if that prospect was like me, I would have come, if I'm supposed to meet at 7, I'm there at 1:45. I'm there at 6:50. I'm there sipping some coffee or just kind of getting ready and getting relaxed. So try and be there early. And the best way to know to be there earliest is to make sure that you're using your calendar. And it sounds really small, but it can be a game changer. Your calculator in this business, what calculates your wealth is your calendar. Is your calendar full of follow-ups, of presentations, of prospecting? If it's full of all these different things, you're going to be creating some income. If your calendar doesn't have any follow-ups, doesn't have any presentations, if you're not even scheduling time to prospect, then you are not going to be doing well in this business. That's just or chances are you won't be doing well in this business. That's just a fact of the matter. All right. And so, two things that you can do to become a master at following up is number one, book a meeting from a meeting, super important. And number two, use your calendar, review your calendar on a daily basis so that you're never late and you never miss out on a meeting. Trust you got some awesome value out of this. Again, I invite you to like, subscribe, share, comment. If you want to see more videos like this, go over to my blog. It's kennysantos.com. You can even put your name and email in. You're going to get an awesome audio and grow in your business. And remember this, every day, multiple times a day, the universe sends us miracles. We only got to do two things about that. We got to recognize those miracles. And then, of course, my favorite part, we get to accept those miracles. All right, take care and create a great day.